Woohoo. Oh man, has it been a while since I've done this? Just wait for people to join real quick. Okay. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Hello, the future is golden. Okay, I see 7 people watching, but I don't see any comments. I've been gone for practically since the summertime. So ho- hopefully I don't see any more trolls cloud watching my stream still. This stream's a little different from what I usually do because this stream's pretty much just to let everyone know that I am still alive. And once some people join, I think it's time that I broke my silence on what I've been seeing and hearing in my time where kind of getting I'm still hearing from different sources about what's been going on. Because I'll admit, I kind of checked out of this space for a little bit. Blazing, man, it's been a long time, bro. A long time. And there's the link to the stream. I still have to learn how to pin the StreamYard link to streams. All right, we're up to 10. So I think is a good time to get started. What's good, Corey? All right, so I know, man. I'm trying to get it better. Okay, so I think it's time now that I let everyone know what's been going on, and to keep it short, yeah, I've been busy. I know that's pretty much a cliche response, but I've been very busy working, living life, just learning. recently been trying to get into motion graphics to get my channel, to really up my channel content, which has been a process. It's taking a while to get used to, just to revamp my videos and everything. And in my time away, I see that the golden sphere is pretty much gone. And to be honest, I think it's for the best of everybody. Because it's just become too problematic and just seems to be associated with too many things, negative things. But before, I know people have probably been running their mouths about me talking about I've quit, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. If anything, I would say that this is motivating me. I'm more motivated than ever to do my content now. And just in case anybody else has been speaking on my behalf, I have not quit at all. In my videos, I have content for days and just a lot of stuff that I have been meaning to get off my chest in regards to what I've been seeing on YouTube, real life, even just everything. And tonight, I just want to talk to everybody who's ever is left and talk about what we can do to completely revamp this space, because that's ultimately what I want to talk about tonight, which is why I hope some people join so I can discuss the future of this space and maybe even renaming it. So there's the link if anyone wants to join up. But let me start off by saying this. All the stuff that you've heard it's a lie. All of it. And I think the problem is there's been a lot of problematic individuals that have attached themselves to the golden sphere. And it's pretty much taken down the overall reputation from it. And I know a lot of people love to say that the golden sphere is dead, which the hashtag itself might be, but the ideals and what it originally stood for is as strong as ever. If anything, it's made it stronger. Just because the space itself and the hashtag is gone doesn't mean that the ideals and what it was first created for is still around and will never go away. I think a lot of people seem to get that confused when they think of what this space was originally created for and what everybody joined the golden sphere for. And I think now, if anything, it is time to go back to the roots of what this space was. And to start off, I think it all starts with disowning and disassociating all the past nonsense that has been attached to it. That is not what this space was created for. It wasn't created to go after pro-blacks. It wasn't created to troll anyone. It was created to give a voice to the voiceless. Well, LSP. A voice to people that have been what's up, Tor LA? I'm just it's a lot of explaining I gotta do, I'll admit. And one thing I do have to apologize to my audience for is because I'll be the first to admit that I got kind of sidetracked with all the nonsense that was going on at the time, and I needed to take some time away. And lately, I've just been thinking about what happened and how did we get to this point.
Hey, Brown and Beige, thanks for letting me up on the panel. How you doing, everyone?
Oh, hey, the future is golden. I know we was kind of talking about this a little bit not too long ago. So, what do you have to say about the space as a whole right now?
I think it's changing, but I noticed that a lot of people have left, or maybe their original purpose for being in this space has kind of been muddied, and so they're really not necessarily a part of the space anymore like they used to be. But I feel like it's an important space, and people need to definitely share their voice and combat a lot of the hate that people who are light skinned or mixed race, biracial, NGM, a lot of the hate that these different groups get. I definitely think that we need to speak up and have our opinions heard on this subject and have our own space and our own channels to start combating these narratives that are really, affecting us negatively in day-to-day life. But hi, LSP, how are you doing? But yeah, I've noticed that this space has changed a lot in the past few months, and there's been a lot of fighting, different channels fighting, different people um, saying negative things about each other. Um, and I just feel like nobody is ever going to agree 100% on anything. So there's always room for debate on any of these topics. But when it comes to getting personal and going below the belt, it does feel like some lines should be drawn, because it feels like it always gets personal. People always go below the belts. And it's not helping the space, it's not helping the space to grow.
Yeah, I think that's what is really going on and why this space is. And I think ultimately the thing is, it kind of, and I wish Caesar was here, but it's kind of gotten off its original purpose. And I think another thing is people are just seem to be just too like absorbed with going after the trolls. Like trolls are always going to be around. Like there's nothing you can say to a troll that's going to just magically change their mind. Like that's why they're called trolls. Like going after trolls all day or going after the same few couple of people who don't agree with what you're saying is exhausting and pointless. And it really just doesn't get nobody anywhere. And I think that's something that I kind of had to step back and learn myself. It's not really helping the space or helping the audience that we're trying to reach by doing that.
Yeah, I think it's always just derails the conversation and prevents any meaningful discussion from happening. So that's what I've noticed in this space. There definitely are trolls, and I guess they built their brand on trolling other people, but it has nothing to do with these topics. Yet somehow they found this channel, which is really like a group of channels and a community, and they found this space and they're coming in to kind of be destructive and be hateful and terrorize some of the members in the space. And I kind of don't agree with that at all. And I feel like I would love for it to end, but realistically, there's always going to be trolls, like you said.
It's all in how you react to them. That's the thing. And that's really the whole point of them being there. Because they're not the thing is it's like their whole like identity, like channel identity, is off of attacking anybody or anyone that even associates with this space. And my question is, I mean, sometimes I really wish I could ask like what is the deal? And from what I've seen, it seems to be this like conversation about this MGM or biracial thing that's going on, where they biracials don't really like the idea of MGMs being in the space, and MGMs don't like the idea of biracials being in the space. Well, okay, if you don't like it, then you don't have to associate with it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a pointless discussion. And I always feel like with biracial people, there are a lot of people who try to be like claiming their identity in a sense, or maybe that's how they feel. But other people who are mixed, they don't need to claim biracial people's identity. That's the point of them using a separate term to describe themselves. And I know that for them, I mean, maybe there's an element of not wanting people who look fully black to be inside of that category, which I can understand. But I also feel like you don't really know who's behind these accounts. Anyone can say they're biracial, anyone can say they're MGM, but it's definitely up to the space to try to educate people a little bit about their identity instead of trying to trash people who are coming in and who don't know, or who may not know like what their identity is or how they would identify themselves. So, I mean, they know they're mixed. You know, they can look in the mirror, the way they get treated in life, they know they're mixed, but they really don't know how they would describe themselves, or, you know, what their place could be, you know, in society, because maybe they don't feel comfortable within the black community. You know, they feel like they need something different. And I think, you know, that's one of the great things that this space can offer, is something different for people who are mixed and they feel like they're kind of not vibing with the black community, so to speak. But I don't like the biracial and MGM argument, just because a lot of MGMs look like biracial people. A lot of biracial people look like MGMs. I feel like it's virtually the same group, but somehow the label gets some people tripped up. And then in terms of people who are light skinned black, like they just can't seem to manage to deal with light skinned black people in the space, which I've never agreed with. I think light skinned black people are completely welcome on my channel, in my space. I'm very sensitive in terms of how I talk about blackness. So that's kind of earned me the title of being pro black, but I really don't mind, because I know that I'm very much pro mixed race. I just am not like super anti black. But I do feel like light skinned black people have certain issues too, that they're welcome to express those issues in this space as well, even though they aren't necessarily mixed race, or they don't feel like they are a part of mixed race spaces. You know, they just feel like they are a part of the black community, but they're getting, you know, picked on, or they're getting told certain things just based on their complexion. So, I mean,
Yeah,
my issue with that is like, it needs to stop. Like, people are arguing really nonsense points, you know, and you can gatekeep, but it should be done. Gatekeeping should be done a little differently. It doesn't have to be so hostile.
I think that's originally where this whole like issue with like the golden sphere came from in the first place. And I don't know about anybody else, but my channel has always been welcome to anybody who is, well, my channel is open to everyone, but it was created with the vision of basically talking about the issues that light skinned blacks and basically biracial people and MGMs synonymously go through in day to day life. And I know a lot of people have tried to pin this anti black thing on my channel, but the thing is, on my channel, I'm not gonna, I'll admit I was pretty pretty hostile at first, but I kind of tried to tone it down. But if you want a pacified message, you're probably not going to get it from me. And I think that's what people have tried to throw this little anti black term on me, which I'll be the first to admit that I love being black
Hmm.
and my black identity. But at the same time, I also acknowledge that there's a lot of things that black people, particularly of a darker hue, have been saying for years that I cannot condone.
Right. And I think that's important that you're saying that, because you have the right to be in this space to talk about those issues as well. And if you want your channel to be something where it's like brutal honesty and you don't want to sugarcoat things, that's how your channel can be. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Um, people may not like your channel, maybe they love your channel, but that's your channel. I think every channel in this space obviously is going to be different. We're not all going to be the same channel. So,
Uh,
I feel like that's the important part too. We're all going to be different.
DJ Jones, no matter how long I could be gone, I could always rely on this guy to comment this comment almost every video I'm here.
He says that.
I gotta give it to you, man. You're very loyal sub. So I'll give it to you, DJ Jones. You're consistent. I'll give you that.
But yeah, definitely. I think this, different channels are for different people. Some people like the spicy conversations. They like it a little bit more, brutal honesty. Other people, they want something a little bit more, um, feminine. Some people want something more masculine. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of those desires, and that's why everybody has a different channel. But yeah, I've noticed that the space has really just people have just been disappearing, and there's a lot going on in the space. Sadly, it's a lot of people um, at war with each other. But I don't know. I'm wondering if it could have been resolved differently, but I don't think so. Once people enter the space and there's issues, it's very difficult for them to resolve it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I definitely wanted to come up. I'm gonna try to see if I can share this with a couple more people. But if you want to continue sharing anything, I'm just going to share the video with a couple of more people if you would like me to. Would you like me to share it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'll come back up once I finish sharing it. All right.
Okay. All right. So I think in what happened with the golden sphere at this point is just all spaces. Let's make no mistake. All spaces sooner or later are gonna. It's the problem when you have a space. Spaces become echo chambers, basically. And if you have eventually, if there is a space, eventually there is going to be people that are going to join the space that are there for all the wrong reasons. And that's one of the problems you can have when you have like spirit, golden sphere, manosphere, woman sphere. Is it's like it becomes an echo chamber, and anybody at any point can join it, and so all types of dissension and hate. And that is not what Caesar, me, or any of the original members of the Golden Sphere envisioned for this space. Do I think the Golden Sphere should keep his name? No. I think at this point, we have to rebuild this space from the ground up And we have to get rid of everything and everyone that has worked towards destroying it. You know what, LSP? I think that's what a lot of people. I think the problem is that a lot of people like to throw these terms out when they don't want to just accept reality for what it is. And it's in a lot of cases, yeah, people love to say self-hate for certain things, but just because you don't condone like the current state of the black community as it is, that doesn't make you a self-hater. It just means that you have elevated to a consciousness that doesn't want to deal with some of the absolute nonsense and buffoonery that a lot of black people have accepted as black culture. Don't think for a second that this doesn't affect light skinned blacks. If anything, I would say that it affects us even worse, because not only do you have to deal with all of the negative undertones of being black and all the assumptions with being black in this country, but then you also have to deal with the fact of dealing with the and genuine and just overall mind games of the darker skinned community, which they have pretty much mastered the art of gaslighting and projecting to get light skinned black people and biracial people to basically really act within the stereotypes. And if anything, multiply those said stereotypes to the highest degree. Don't think for a second that this doesn't apply to us, because it does. And light skinned men is, I always have to bring this up because a lot of people don't really seem to understand this. But if you have what we have going on right now with the negative association with our masculinity, a lot of light skinned men have to basically act twice as hard to avoid not getting picked on. And this is something that all of us can agree has happened to us at one point or another. Where, yeah, it's hard as a black man, period, in the community as of now. But I think it's even harder for us because not only do we have to deal with the nonsense that the, well, just the racist white society has to deal with, but then you have to deal with the colorist nature of the black community. And no, I am not one of those people that believes that colorism only applies to dark skinned people. That could not be any more false. And anybody who's saying it is does not know what they're talking about. Exactly, Beige. Like, it's like this is just stuff that people just don't want to admit happens. It all just gets swept under the rug. All you got to do is just go to a black community and just look at how light skinned black men have to be just to survive. And a lot of times this ends in either one of two ways: either going to jail or, in some extreme cases, death. And it's very sad to see. And this is what I joined the golden sphere, or what's ever left of it. This is what I joined the fight for, to do exactly what I'm doing now, talking about these issues and fighting against these stereotypes and shedding light on all the things that light-skinned men and light-skinned people, well, biracial people too, have to deal with. And it's not really my place to argue with pro-blacks who sometimes come to this space and basically tell me what I'm doing is wrong. I'm not going to sit and argue with people over something that I have seen and experienced in my own day-to-day life. We can debate about this topic long enough, but eventually it gets to a point where all you have to do is look at reality and see what is happening. And it's another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about today is what I've really kind of been seeing, and what my next video is going to be about is the overall like identity policing of biracial. Now I know a lot of people don't really like when I speak upon this, and I try to tread lightly on topics like this, but I don't think it's fair for fully black monoracial people to be telling biracial people what they should identify as. Because I've been seeing, from what I've seen in the space, it seems to be a lot of people that like anti-golden sphere stuff seem to be talking about how biracial people are running from blackness, and that at the end of the day, if biracial people leave, they have nothing, which I do not agree with that at all. I think what a lot of people seem to forget is just how many of these quote unquote black, first black stuff were really first biracial. And if we want to be perfectly honest, in today's society, probably wouldn't even be considered black. I think that's where a lot of people kind of get this confused. I think people seem to think that just open the history book like yesterday and now have become historians. Most, if not all, of the accomplishments of the black community were first funded by what we would call today biracials and MGMs. So all these people that are trying to make it out like, oh, if you guys would be nothing without us, couldn't be lying. Like the lies couldn't, your nose wouldn't probably grow longer than the Golden Gate Bridge. Clearly. And who's to say, even what we know now, who's to say there's not even more historical mixed / light skinned figures that funded everything? And that is what I'm going to be talking about very soon. Because I just look at these comments from people and it's just disingenuous, to say the least. Nobody is taking away anything with what the dark skin community has dealt with. But let's be honest, anybody who's saying that we haven't accomplished anything is lying. Anybody who's saying that we would be nothing without the black community as a whole is lying. Don't flatter yourselves. Light-skinned black people have and always have pushed the pendulum for blackness and have fought for the black community more than anybody. And we deserve our respect. Like, don't try to make it out like y'all would be nothing without us either. Like, nobody owns anyone over here. We're all our own people, and we all have had our fight to get the Black community where it is. No one group has done more for the other. We've all shades have fought to get us to at this point where we are now, where we can own anything with the civil rights movement, and we don't have to deal with having to go to colored bathrooms, colored all this. And I think I've really seen these comments in regards to biracial people, and I will say this once again. A lot of these figures that you're talking about were biracial figures. So if biracial people really wanted to, they could just say, okay, give us our historical figures back. And that's when people just seem to go brain dead. Like, you have to acknowledge reality for what it is. Yes, they said they're Black, but people can say they're a lot of things. That doesn't negate from what their DNA and what their phenotype says. People can say there are a lot of things nowadays. That doesn't mean they actually are what they say they are. And this is what this space was created for. We're not here to be coddle anyone's emotions or anything. We're just here to acknowledge reality. We're here to talk about the issues of mixed/light skinned people. And I know this space has really been sidetracked and has really became more about arguing and debating with trolls, but that's not what it was created for. It never was. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people have been leaving this space. Orison TV. Yes, I do remember your comment. Yes, my channel is not dead. It is alive and better than ever. And I am going back to the roots of why this channel was created. Okay, let's see what these comments. Let's see, there's not a got 16 watchers, but not a lot of comments. So there's a lot of cloud watchers here. So I have to say, who are you guys? Yes, I'm back. I know a lot of people have probably been saying a lot of things about how I've probably quit, how I've left, or I've tried to, I've decided to disassociate myself. But yeah, that's half true to an extent. But this channel always has and always will be created for what I just said. And no amount of trolling or lying on my behalf is going to stop that. It's not. So you guys can have at it. Like, do your little videos, crop my videos, and make it and say something that they're not. But my channel is going to continue to be what I created it for, and that's to talk about the issues that we are dealing with in today's society. And these are the issues that nobody else is really talking about. And I think that right now, this space is going through a cleansing and needs to be reborn. Call it the golden exodus, if you may. And as far as the golden sphere is concerned, it doesn't even need to be named the golden sphere. It can be named anything. It doesn't, in fact, it doesn't even have to be a space. We can all talk about our subjects and can be solo channel artists. And a lot of people think that this is just a good thing and it's a W. But the thing is, it's not just because the golden sphere is more or less gone. That doesn't mean that nobody's going to stop uploading their videos. If anything, it kind of makes it better because now everybody can be accountable for themselves. And if we want to bring this space back, we can under a new name and everything. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. I have the StreamYard link, relink to the video. So I'll let the future is golden rejoin, and we can talk about a little bit more of what the future holds for my channel, her channel, and what you're about to start seeing from this space moving forward.
Hey, Brown and Beige. So I'm back. Hey, everyone. Can you hear me?
I hear you. What's up, Carl? Just the person I wanted to see back. Good to see you're back in the space. See, we're all still here, and it's good to see.
Yeah, we're all still here. I mean, and even when some of the creators leave, you know, over time, you will get different creators who will leave. But I know for a fact there will always be new creators because the space is really needed, you know.
I've been kind of looking behind the scenes and trying. I've been seeing a lot more channels that have been talking about issues like this, and see there's a couple of people that I even think I have inspired to make videos, and I'll probably have links to some of their channels after this stream. But just to shout them out, Will the Thrill. I know he's been watching my channel practically since I started. So please, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, Nate Turner, he's making some very good videos, and I would love to see him. I'd probably love to do a collab with you. I'll have your channel in the link as well. The Euro Afric Fold of Gold. I see his. He has a nice channel. Have you seen anyone new that you like to add to the conversation in the future?
Um, the only people's channels that I know that are new is Magic Mulata. So I just started kind of like working with her a little bit. Sometimes I'll come up on her streams. Um, there are different people in the group. I'm not as sure about them yet, but I know that, she has started talking, especially about biracial issues. So, I did kind of talk on a few of her panels about biracials and MGMs and different issues we face um, with each other, as well as with the broader Black and white community. But other than the old, the Golden Sphere kind of like original channels, that's the only new person that I know of. And Will the Thrill also, I kind of subscribed to his channel recently, and I really enjoy his content as well.
Yeah, please sell to him if you guys haven't. I think one of these days, if I might try to collab with him and see if I can have a. One day we can have a panel discussing the light skinned male issues. I know that would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, he's very like he has very good talking points. He really thinks about the topics and how they relate to mixed and light skinned people in society. So that would be a really great panel. I loved his recent video on light skinned women and mixed race women and how like the media uses our image to kind of promote, the role, they try to promote us in a certain way. Like, for example, that we'll be isolated and, objects to different men versus being more fulfilled people with their own sense of purpose. But I thought it was a really great video, and hopefully people look for it after this stream.
Yeah, Will the Thrill is solid. I've known him for a couple years now. He's always he's always supported my channel, and sometimes even had debates on Twitter with some people. I kind of retired from the whole Twitter thing because Twitter makes my head practically spin across my whole body. You be arguing with people all day. It's
Yeah, they
so,
love to argue on Twitter. It's too much. That's all they want to do on Twitter is just argue. And they like to report each other too. That's another one. And people are always like losing their account, getting new accounts, losing their accounts. So Twitter is a mess.
yeah, I pretty much retired. I had a Twitter, but I don't really use it like that anymore. But anyways, so are you and Magic Mulata good? I know I kind of reached out to her not too long ago to see how she's doing.
We're good, Our like all of us, all of our channels are really different. So, I think her channel focuses on one set of issues, mine focuses on another. Um, but we're good. She's been putting out content. She holds live streams mostly, but she's definitely been putting out content.
Yeah, I'll admit I've been trying to join people's live streams lately, but a lot of times I've been so busy with like work and everything that sometimes I forget like the time, and by the time I realize the live stream's already been over.
I know that feeling. And then you have to try to catch up on the stream. But you know what I was thinking? we could definitely try to coordinate things because it seems like everybody has a Discord, you know, and I had just created a Discord, but I like to use it to kind of plan out like a schedule for all the creators. So if one person's going live on one day, another person can go live on another day. So I think there's a man that just kind of started in the space. I don't know if he's really in the space or not, but like Anthony. So I think he's holding a live stream right now, actually. And some of the people from this space might be on his channel because he advertised it a few days ago. But like that type of thing, everybody can kind of like pick a time for their live stream so that everybody isn't holding streams at the same time and losing viewers. But they can get their message across to everybody in the space. But that's pretty much it.
Snap. AMR is back. What's up, AMR? It's good to be back, brother. I miss you guys.
Yeah, AMR is here. Carl is here.
See,
Yeah, we got a nice group.
we need to get some people on this panel. We gotta hash out and talk about old times and everything.
Oh, we got MLS people should date each other. How you doing? Looks like Brian McGee. Yeah, we got a good turnout for
Yeah,
the live.
yeah, it's back to business, MLS people. I'm not playing around this time. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
COVID. Oh my.
Yeah, I hope you
How you
feel better.
feeling, AMR? Yeah, I'm just recently getting over a little bug that I had not too long ago.
Yeah, I've been doing good so far. Knock on wood. I hope I stay that way. Hey, AMR, welcome to the panel.
Oh
Hey, what's
snap!
going on, Future? And man, I see my brother, getting denied the started the stream, and I just found out at the last minute.
Yeah, I'll admit I kind of just did it. Usually how I do my streams, I usually just say it like maybe 4 hours, but I think this time I just wanted to go all in and just let everyone know that I'm still alive.
Yeah, yeah, hey, that's good to know, man. But I'm just wondering, did I miss all the good juicy stuff?
Not really. I was just
No.
talking about what I've been seeing from the golden sphere as of late and what all the negativity that's been kind of attached to it and how I'm ready to pick it back up from the ashes and rebirth it, so to say.
Yes, I feel you on that. I really do.
I want to take it back to its roots, what it was created for. So how you feeling, man?
Yeah, man, I'm just still, again, trying to get over this COVID. And I tell you, it is the most horrible thing. If anybody hasn't experienced it or has experienced it, then you already know.
Oh yeah. I think the thing is the worstest thing about it is the mucus part of it.
Oh,
And it's like one time I had something, I don't know if it was COVID or not, but I never really got tested for it. But every time I would breathe, it would just feel like there was like water and like mucus all on my lungs. So every time I would breathe, I would just cough again.
Yeah, that's the that's the feeling that I've been getting. Even though I'm taking meds and even the meds sometime, 1 minute it'll do something, but then the next minute you back to square one, coughing again or feeling some other version of the symptoms.
Yeah, it is not
But
fun.
you right, but then again though, like because I was just again just sitting here contemplating myself, like you know what, there's been a lot of OGs in the game, especially around these parts where we ought to just get do like one of these little streams where we just pick up and catch up on old times, and especially where we left off.
Brother Carl, what's going on? Can you hear me, Carl?
Hey,
Yeah,
Carl, welcome to the stream.
can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
That's what's up. Hey, what's going on, fam? Yeah, I just figured
What's
I
going
hop
on,
on the
man?
stream since everybody else jumped on. I figured I'd jump on and join the club. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what's
how
up,
you
Carl? How you been?
Oh, I've been all right. I've been like I said in the chat. I've been like super busy and just living life. Living life.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, yeah. But all in building and you know trying to make things happen for next year. You know what I'm saying? 2022, boy.
Yeah, it's been
2022. 2022 for me been a monster year, man. It's been absolutely absurd. So yeah.
Oh man.
Yes.
Hey, it's like it just make you just want to just start like throwing stuff and just start like just
Nah, it just made me do the opposite, AMR. It made me just
no,
be
it made
quiet.
you do the opposite.
Yeah, it made me be quiet and just chill and bounce for a minute and be like, okay, but it's all in, I guess, growing and learning. Main thing is learning, and Brian and Beige was talking about, like, try to reboot things or try to put new direction into the space or whatever, and and just learn from past mistakes and try to move forward.
Ultimately.
Right, and I've also noticed too because it's like, and ever since again, like I came into the space, like no matter what, like anything somebody says or does, whether if it's taken out of context, that could be held against you, like
Held
forever.
against you, yeah.
To
Yeah, like I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, these live streams, these comment sections, that's the root of it. Your own video recorded content probably is the best way to go to really get anything out of value or worth, and then everything else is just fed for entertainment. Well, that could be entertainment too. I was thinking about it too, to make the space pop in a positive way, like any other one is. I don't know, me or anybody else or someone, and I think it would be smart in watching other spaces is doing a lot of, if it's possible. I don't know who has time or who can collaborate, but like your documentary style stuff. You know what I'm saying? 30 minute to an hour, mini movies. You know what I'm saying? And those type
Yeah.
of videos with
Yeah.
purpose and direction. That's what draw. I mean, I look in the Black Power spaces. I look at all the all kind of different spaces. The conspiracy space. Like when you drop those with high quality editing, man, like you're gonna get viewers and you're gonna get a crowd that's gonna be way more than what you're doing now, and you won't be running in circles. You'll be like really moving forward with whatever type of position or type of message you're trying to preach, and be that much entertaining. Like what could what could what could equal the entertainment of the drama and the stuff like that. And I was thinking of something like that. I just looked at that and thought about that. I don't have the skills right now to make it happen. Hopefully I could, but stuff like that is how you can take it. But it had to be so in depth, and it has to be so like detail oriented, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the music and all that stuff. You have to really it had to be at a high quality, high level. That's one thing I was thinking about.
And you know what's funny when you say that? I've been kind of like dabbling in like motion graphics and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think the thing is that I've been working on my laptop lately to try to get a little bit more of a speed and kick to it. But
Yeah.
I've been behind the scenes kind of learning how motion graphics, like hardcore, like editing, that like 3D modeling and all that crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of one of the reasons why my videos have kind of tampered off, because I've been trying to get into like more advanced level editing than like
Advanced.
base
There you
level
go.
stuff I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that, man. That'll draw in anybody, even if they not really, didn't intentionally, look for that type of content. You can make it in such a way that it will get eventually your message out in much more of an entertaining way, and it'll be less of all the other stuff. Like I was watching the brother, what's his name, Dane Calloway. I watch his videos, how he makes his videos, and all these other documentary style stuff. I'm like, man, that's the way to go. That's the way to go to make an
Yeah, I've
impact
seen
more.
some of his videos.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
stuff like
check it out. I'm gonna check it out because I want to see the format. Because I've been
that.
trying to spice things up too
It,
and kind of like elevate my content.
yeah, it
So,
takes it
mhm,
takes time. It takes time for anybody, but it's just like that's the way to that's one way. And
uh-huh,
everything else can just kind of like fall to the wayside because it'll hit. I just say it hits different. It'll hit people harder in your message than just you know open topics all the time. Like somebody sees something, it's like any movie. Somebody sees something and just they absorb it more. You know, they
mhm.
absorb it more. It impacts more sometimes. And you just got to keep hitting them with that.
Right,
Exactly.
most
Yeah,
definitely. But I'm gonna check it out. Dane Calloway. I'm
yeah. I
gonna
mean,
check it out.
yeah, he basically talks about African Americans being basically the original Native Americans and stuff like that. He's been doing it for years and stuff, and he do live streams, but then he has his own, movie style stuff. But I like I said, I know it takes a while to kind of get a feel for it, and then you get your format and how and get comfortable with stuff. But yeah, and have it focused on mixed race people, biracial, whomever, multiracial people and that kind of
Mhm.
that's just a idea, some things I've been thinking about as far as the space. But honestly, man, I haven't really even been interested in engaging in the space or even watching videos. It really ain't really been interesting at all, to me, honestly. So, but it's whatever. It's been
Yeah,
whatever.
I feel you on that.
It's
I
been
feel you
whatever.
on that.
Yeah, but yeah.
I've always I remember I watched one of his videos like a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
I think the thing that kind of grabs people's attention when is like you said, like the documentary style series, and like when you tie like I think the thing is like the transitions and stuff where they transitioning from like race and then go to like a like live like action film. Like I've been looking into stuff like that a lot lately, and it's
Yeah.
definitely an eyeball catcher.
Yeah. Yeah, but you could do that and then also, kind of mix in the streams and stuff, but kind of have, a more of a variety of stuff, than what's going on now, you don't have to reinvent the wheel sometimes, Sometimes you have a new space and stuff. Well, what do we have to do new? Sometimes you could do, what others do well, and then build yourself up that way. Just take time and the effort, and the collaborations.
So, Carl, is there anyone that you would suggest that collabing with in the future?
Yeah, you were speaking about Will. Will was watching my videos. Yeah, he would be anybody, man. That anybody that I feel like would stay on topic and also kind of pull me into, dare I say, doing some research on something and bringing it back. Then yeah, anything like that where it's just really well thought out, really well researched, and then like I said, can intrigue me into like put a lot of time and energy and effort into something. But nobody in particular, I guess anybody who, like I say, is sticking to a topic and a subject and they serious about it, I'm all for it. But I can't name a particular person right now, that's at that level. I know I'm not, so yeah.
Okay. What about you, Amar? Have you seen anybody lately?
Um, you know what? No, other than just again like the usuals. Again, even for me, again, I'm looking forward to again like again, you already know I work with anybody, but sometimes too, and even when you like, it's not gotten to the point even for me, even if somebody that were to come in that's fairly new. I mean, of course, again, I'll be more than welcoming, but then sometimes, I sort of like kind of got to play the part where it's, I don't know where you're going, but just know exactly. But then again, I'm just like, just know exactly what you're getting into, and try not necessarily to get so caught up into believing what other people also believe in as well. Not necessarily if it's for the, especially if it isn't for the better, you know.
I agree.
And another thing too is that and sometimes even when you're doing live streams, live stream after live stream as well. I get it if you wanted, again, if you don't really have nothing to do, or if you're just bored, or if you feel like that that's the way that you may have to get your message out. Okay, do that. But however, if it isn't necessarily, if you're just doing it just to pick up subscriber after sub, or going to somebody else's channel just to get subs, well, that I don't know.
I think the thing is, I've been trying to get more back to more like video, like, because I think the thing I like more about videos is it gets more impressions, and I can have more control over who joins and who doesn't. Because if there's anything that I've noticed with like these live streams, is it seems like that's where a bulk of this negativity seems to be coming from.
Right.
Right.
And also the thing is, and even for me, because even I myself, again, unfortunately, if COVID hadn't caught up to me, then, but though, what the hell, I probably might still be able to do it with, again, even with the COVID or not, again, just making videos of just what's been not necessarily too much revolved around this space, but also what's been going on, like, let's say, in the entertainment world.
Right. I think that's a good place to pull from, because a lot of the times, that's where you see the dynamics occurring, where people are really like mistreating light-skinned men and light-skinned women, mixed race and biracial men and women. That's really where you see the dynamic, is in the media and in the news. But yeah, I think with the live streaming can get a little bit tiresome. I'm kind of new to live streaming, but it is a lot. to do live streams every day. And also, I think it just, maybe it takes away from the space a little. It's not really a lot of talking points, it's just people holding like a daily conversation. And I don't know if they really have specific talking points they're pushing. Maybe they just want to have, like you said, open discussions every day. And me personally, I would say that does detract a little bit. I like to have like a prepared topic with actual talking points before I will fire up a live stream, unless there's a specific reason. Like, for example, tonight there's a good reason to hold a live stream. But sometimes just to hold it and see if you can gain subs, like you were saying, isn't necessarily benefiting this space.
And one thing I also would like to point out is, I know I've talked about a lot of the negativity, but we got to add some positivity, is that we have a mixed race black or mixed race golden male superhero in Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So we got to shout out to Black Adam.
Next.
Yes. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice for a change. It's very good.
The first
But
of its kind.
yeah, I actually have to step down and tend to different things at home. But I'll be in the chat. But thanks for letting me up on the panel, and have a good evening, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Future.
See
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Yeah. Yeah, about that Black Adam movie. I heard that well, I ain't gonna say I heard, but it seems like it's been getting nothing but negative reviews. The irony behind it,
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of people saying they don't like it or whatever. I hadn't seen this, so I can't speak on it personally, but yeah, that's what I've been hearing from the critics or whatever.
Evening, that retro guy. Yeah, I don't know if it's, see, I got HBO Max and Netflix and all that, so I think once it releases on there, I'll probably watch it, because I've been so busy lately that I haven't really just been able to just sit and watch movies like that.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Yeah. But AMR, what you were speaking about, like getting, people holding their daily conversations and subs, to me, that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, like anything on YouTube, anything anywhere else, you can choose to, even if you collaborated or you good with someone, if that's the route that they're taking, I don't have a problem with it. It's just that you could choose to participate with that dialogue or not, So I think that's one thing about the space has taught me. You could choose whomever you want to have dialogue and conversation and collaborate. You can choose all of that. You're not forced to do anything with anybody. So I don't, like I said, if the more power to them, if that's the lane that people are seeking, and using the content, but it's just on each person to figure out what they want to do within the space. And if others aren't, then you just, go to path. What's going on there?
And I guess that's because of, like, again, like sort of, like what's been like what's sort of been, again, what's been happening, again, especially around some of these parts lately.
Yeah. Well,
and then it's like, I'm sick.
No, go ahead, Emma. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then it was like, well, I guess because I guess, again, because for me, again, I've been very blessed to where I came in at a time where I don't think that, none of us, not even me, that's what I had to pretty much worry about. I mean, if they come, they come. Whether they would come to your stream, whether it be they come to Brown and Beige's, my stuff, whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, of course, when I started, I was green and naive, and on how social media, especially like live social media, works because it's the first time I've ever done it. And, like I said earlier, man, you just learn and you just pick it up, and if you do redo stuff, now you know the ways that you want to take it. So, but like I say, other people control their channels and what they want to get out, how they want to do it. And if you see it going that way, then it's up to you to say, okay, do I want to participate in this or not? And that's it. So it may cost you subs, it may cost you friendships or whatever, or collabs, it may cost you views or whatever. But as long as you true to what you want to do, that's all that matters. And if you are, then there will be people to work with in that environment.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to say, hey, I think what was it? Didn't Houston win the World Series?
Yeah, I threw my video up that night, man. That was a recording on my television. Yeah, man. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
I know. I know. Minute Maid Park was packed, and the whole streets was packed.
yeah. It was. It was. I didn't
Dude,
go to the parade, but I watched it on television. That Monday, I think I was off. I ended up being off, and I watched it. Yeah, it was. It was live. It definitely was live. Like all the local high schools and they marching bands was there, and they had floats, and yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome, and they did it legitimately this time, so no cheating. No cheating this time. It was all legit. Yeah,
yeah, nothing beats a championship parade, man.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it was, especially when the Bucks like won that championship. Like I'll never forget. It was like at the Dare District. It was like hundreds upon thousands of people out in that little spot. And when they had saw once the final bell had went, it just they went bananas. It's like there's no better feeling than being a part of that, especially for teams that haven't played as one as long as we did the Bucks. So it was.
Yeah, yeah. 50 years is quite a while.
And you know what? We the crazy thing is, like, not even a couple years ago, we were celebrating winning a playoff series.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, Green Bay is near Milwaukee, right? Is that where the Milwaukee, Green Bay fans are at? The Packers.
Yeah, well, pretty much all Wisconsin is pretty much Packer fans.
Okay, yeah, yeah, because I know they won the Super Bowl like 12 years ago, I think 12, 13 years ago, something like that. But yeah, for the Bucks, that was like unexpected, but well deserved. Giannis. Yeah, definitely.
I think if that game I watched yesterday was the Lakers, I think that the way they was playing, if the Lakers keep playing like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we might get our Giannis versus LeBron finals. That would be good.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting matchup to see.
Yeah,
The
that
Greek
would.
the Greek Freak versus LeBron.
Yeah, if only go to state. If only the Lakers don't break down before the end of the season.
Oh,
I don't know if physically they can keep that kind of that level all season. So yeah, I
Duke
don't
has a
keep it up, man.
angry biracial burn you out. No, no one. There's no one in particular that burnt me out, Duke. It was just all a matter of just seeing what was going on in this space as a whole and certain individuals that I kind of just had to take a step back for a little bit and then come back in, kind of analyze what I had kind of did wrong and what to do better moving forward so we can. It's gonna happen regardless, but at the very least, we don't get into the echo chamber of what's been going on as of late.
Yeah, what's going on, Duke?
I think even with this stream, it's a good start because we got a lot of people that I haven't really been seeing in a while.
Yeah,
Just sitting and talking. Just
yeah, like you say, Brown and Beige, it's burnout, man. It's just so much burnout. It's like, what's the point? Like, really, what's the point? What's the point in jumping on? What's the point in even making content? Like, what's the point? When everything could and will, like Amar said, everything can and will be used against you in a court
Yeah,
of law.
right.
What the fuck?
No, no, yeah, like no matter what you say or what you do,
Yeah, what's the
like you
point?
pretty much have to be walking on eggshells, or
Yeah. Even if you do it, bringing out positive content, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild. So
but you know what though. But for me, it's like I mean, I've sort of like kind of like been in the mindset. Well, there's still gotta be some like mechanisms to offset it to where you get put back on an even keel.
yeah, that's called logging off, and more.
Right.
That's called
And
logging
also, hey,
off,
I'm gonna have to
man.
borrow one of your quotes. Sometimes you gotta ice. What did you say? You gotta isolate in order to elevate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of my main mottos. It's all good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yep, that is definitely good advice because that definitely helped.
To recharge, yeah.
And I started thinking about this maybe like 2 weeks ago. It had been a while. I even looked at my channel. I was like, oh my, I haven't done anything in 5 months. And I'm like, what could I do to let people know I'm still around? And it's like I wasn't joining any streams or anything. So I was like, you know what? I guess maybe it's just time to do a live and just let everyone know that I'm still here and I'm ready to pick up where I left off.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
ready to bring.
sometimes
Oh, what were you about to?
I was gonna say, and also remember, again, as always, it is also a good way to let not only everybody else know, but yourself knows that again, remember where and how you first started.
Exactly, man. That man, that's it right there, Emma. Remember why, how, and necessarily the main thing is why you started. Yeah.
That's definitely some good advice, and that's what really finally got me out of this like burnout that I was in. I'm like, when I was just sitting and thinking about like looking at the videos and then looking online and seeing all these people, like, I gotta come back. I can't.
Yeah, because it was like, man, because even I was just like, man, I don't know. Like, is it ever gonna be the same again? I mean, I get it if there's gonna be, like some moderations and all that. I understand there's gonna be some changes, what have you, but it can't always be the exact same thing to where people are gonna be just burnt out over and over and over again.
I agree.
And all the fun and all the excitement and all the laughing and the camaraderie is just it's just very much at an all-time, it becomes pretty much at an all-time low,
Yeah.
especially when you first start, or even if you try to like get back to it. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be some work.
It's funny you said lives because it made me first think about one of my other live streams when we had the person with the robo voice.
Man, I can't, man. You know what? I was thinking about that too. And somebody was like, we were mean. We were being mean. And then I think about that. I was like, no, we weren't being mean. We were being fair. I know I was. I was just caught off guard. You was caught off guard.
I to this day I just can't believe
Oh man, you talk about funny nostalgia moments at its finest. You still got that stream up, don't you?
Yes. Oh man. See, I gotta remember which one that was. That was like
I think because you had done a couple of bids. You had done a couple of bids where I think you were doing, a couple of people or a couple of videos was done based off of negative commentary, what somebody else said, and then you did your and then you had went on ahead and talked about it.
yeah, I remember those days. Hey, at least something good came out of that. Hey, just to let everyone know that I have no beef towards that person. That was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a live stream.
Oh man, like
Because I remember
like,
when it first
oh, go
happened.
ahead.
I remember when it first happened. That person was trying to join the stream for a while, and I had first saw. I was like, okay, and you joined. I was like, hey, how you doing? It's like, hello. I was like, huh? What? Like, what?
And
You got a
because
robot
but
on?
nah, at first I seriously thought that was a troll doing that. I seriously thought that was literally a troll because you know how they love the trolls love messing with us at all costs. So it just took that person a while to get their microphone and stuff together, but it was just
Okay, what's up, self-profile?
Oh, what's going on, bro?
So, I'm all right, man. So how long
Hey,
have
much,
you been in this space, like?
shit, about a year and a half.
Oh, nice. So what's the first video that you watched from the space?
Um, I believe you was talking about the something about blackwashing.
Later, but
I don't about yikes. It was about how they cast characters like Malcolm X with males that was more darker skinned. Um, stuff like that.
oh, nice. Yeah, I did a part 2 to that video. So what'd you think of that video?
Um, I mean, I just appreciate what you're doing. I was, I got a hold to Mike Will's videos about how us, light skin or mixed men should like stand up more and just speak out and not just let the negative.
He froze up.
Yeah, I think your stuff it froze, self-profile.
Yeah. Might have to drop him and let him back on. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Can you hear a self-profile? Okay, I think his stuff might have locked up.
Yeah.
But okay, he dropped. Yeah, but that blackwashing, out of all the videos I did, I think that was the one that I felt the most passionate about. Because just looking at like all those like historical light skinned figures that were getting blatantly miscast, I think with videos like that, it's just fuel for me because it's like you won't hear about this from nobody else. And it just gives me the motivation to just keep doing what I do and bringing light to it because it's something that is very important that I don't think a lot of people even acknowledge, or maybe for all we know, probably don't even know.
Yeah, and I remember, and again, I remember like when I first got hooked to your channel, like those were like one of the one or two top videos that I myself was looking at, and didn't realize that there was a term for it back then. But then looking back at it now, not necessarily the term I was that much worried about, but just like, well, what's going on about, you know, other people, unambiguous folks playing us, whether they're our relatives or not. But if, I mean, hell, didn't they give Will Smith flack for playing Serena Williams's dad? Or they gave Zoe Saldana flack for trying to play Nina Simone.
I even remember, I think, a video where she was even teary eyed about it. They were criticizing her so heavily for it.
And I'm like, yo, and I'm like, and that's the part that really trips me. See that it's like, but they can play our figures, historical figures. But but then again, if their historical figures get played by somebody else, here they are crying about it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but where is this energy when it's the other way around? Like what? And I even see, like, I posted a few couple more as I'm in community tab because even the little Jeffrey Dahmer series had two instances. Like Glenda
I
Queen.
now remember. I remember that. You know the whole Jeffrey Dahmer picture that you put up on the community tab, and I'm like, wow.
And the lady that had helped take Jeffrey Dahmer down. And they picked the most unambiguous black woman they could find to play her. Okay, you're back on the stream, self profile.
I appreciate you, man. This is my first time on the live stream, so just bear with me, y'all.
Oh, you're fine, man. You're fine.
You good, man?
You all right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just chilling right now. Just got off of work. Just seeing that you was back on, and I really appreciate you, man, for just having enough courage to step up and do something like this, because a lot of this stuff get overlooked. It's like our voices like should be muted, and it ain't important enough, you know. And being a mixed dude from the hood, I just, it's a little bit of a different experience than what I hear in these live streams, but it's similar enough to make me want to keep listening.
Yeah, man. Well, I shoot. I'm mixed from the hood too, and I had a ton of old. I don't have them anymore because I deleted them, but I had a ton of me and Caesar, or even AMR. We had a bunch of videos that related to that, man. He may still have some, but I had streams that were related to that. So I mean, yeah. So I understand what you're saying. I will say, like you say, you can relate to some of it. Just take whatever you can relate to and just build off of that for self. You know what I'm saying? Because, me being from the hood too, you can have an identity of self that is separate from your racial background. and that kind of can over consume you sometimes. But you might have to try to learn how to take that away from yourself, or learn how to like operate outside of that, of your culture upbringing, and look more of the similarities that you have with people, and then try to build off of that. It's tough because that background, I know it consumes the mind on what you think you are, everything else is, and it's like trying to break it, you're trying to break it. So but yeah, man,
Well,
yeah.
well, I never really fit into that mold anyway. I was always made to be different.
Mhm.
That's just so happened to be where I come from.
Yeah,
But I never really fit into anything.
exactly.
Um, yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all for what y'all doing. Um, yeah, and we need more representation, most definitely.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like being a chameleon, sometimes you have to learn how to be happy being a chameleon, though. Instead of trying to find the final destination, you can just say, well, I can operate in all these environments pretty well. That's something to try to strive for, as much as possible, because you're gonna
Oh,
find.
I'm sorry. Thanks for joining Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron.
Hey, how you
Uh,
doing tonight, Jose?
What's going
um
on, Jose?
yeah.
Yeah, I realized that a lot of guys that I grew up with, or if I run across like MLS men or something like that, from where I come from, they're trying to fit into the black mold more. It's like they're striving to be like that, and that's why I appreciate this space, because when I approach MLS men in person, it's a little weird. They're not really receptive, and that's because they trying to fit in into, I guess you could say, black culture, you know. So um, and they dismiss being, ostracized or from the community, or because they're so busy trying to be a part of it, instead of realizing that it's a difference in the women that we might pursue in these situations. Make it known all the time, you know, that it's not the same, you know. So yeah, I don't know. That's why I think this space is important or whatever, because it I mean, it brings light to that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I can understand that totally, man. Yeah, I definitely get that. I don't know how old you are, and a lot of that has to do with age and where you grew up, area and environment and stuff. And a lot of times there's really no choice but to be or act like any and everybody around you to the fullest up until a certain point in life, and then that's where traveling and you know like you say, they go through, we go through different experiences or whatever, but at some point you have to learn how to embrace the fact that you're different and start being show, I guess, pride in it, or you have to show a certain level of pride in being different, so much so that like I said, you got to isolate to elevate. So you have to take pride in the building process of your isolation, away from that type of wanting that type of acceptance, if that makes any sense. You have to start embracing it, and like you say, a lot of MLS and mixed men don't do that because they're trying to fit in those worlds. Now, like I said, a lot of that does depend on your culture background, because uh, we all come from different places. So, like you say, you from the hood, me
They
too. But
steady trying to fight. They steady trying to fight the stereotypes.
yeah, and
I don't know if y'all caught that Drake 21 Savage, those memes and that stuff that's
Oh
on
yeah.
Twitter.
And as a matter of fact, if you would like to, I think you would like go back and even on my channel, like I did some commentary on that where and what it all and I don't want to say that not only does it what it boils down to is them just showing their jealousy and jealousy and just hating, but let's be honest right now. MLS men, Drake himself is the face of hip hop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And-
and not only that, and Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the face of the NBA.
And you know
So
what?
when
I'm sorry.
go ahead. Oh, you can go ahead.
Kind of piggyback off of that. Even if you look at like mainstream sports now, like even if you look at a lot of quarterbacks,
Yeah.
like
Patrick
a lot of people
Mahomes.
said the Beige National Beige Association, like a lot of these guys that are hating on MLS men are creating the very thing that they hate. Like sports, even if you look at the women's side, it's starting to become more and more MLS.
And they don't like that.
Nope.
They don't like that, you know. Whether we have some type of affiliation or association with through kinship, they still again that's still you know, because again, them alongs with you know, quote unquote, you know, white folks out here thought that they were just gonna be the only default people to go to, since now that default title is being taken, or I don't want to say taken, but it's moving towards a different direction, and they're seeing a new, different face to it.
And even
It
if
eats
you look,
away at them.
even if you look at the first overall pick, he has a white dad and a black mom. And I know a lot of people be trying to throw that argument in here too. Well, if he's got a black dad, that means he's going to be more physically
Oh,
dominant.
you mean the argument that Angry Biracial tried to put out? I mean, I'm sorry, not Angry Biracial, Bluish Gelato. My bad. Sorry for that mistake. He makes a big difference with the fact that he has a white dad and a black mom. You know, and you know, maybe that's true, maybe it's not or whatever. But my dad is black or whatever, and it's some colorism issues there or whatever, because I mean, it's just kind of like, you know, I didn't necessarily, I mean, yeah, I really don't know what to say about that. It may be just a slight difference or whatever, but it shouldn't be. It should be more camaraderie instead of division, you know. Because that just separate us. We already a minority within a minority, so it shouldn't really be a separation, you know. I mean, but he makes it apparent, you know. So I mean, it's just that's just what I realized, that this whole space or whatever I mean, it was a beautiful thing to me at first. Like, oh wow, I didn't even think nobody cared about this till everybody just separating and just breaking off, and you know what I mean. All the talking points was just or a lot of whack, and it just wasn't coming together, you know. So I mean, I don't know.
I think a lot of people just say that to cause division, because really it doesn't which parent is white or black. It all depends on how they raise you. I think a lot of people that bring that up just bring it up to sow dissension, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because I noticed that in a lot of cases with like some of these other, like even with like the black manosphere, like the black woman spheres, they try to push, and the manosphere says that the ones with black moms be messed up, and then the woman sphere turn around and say the ones with black dads be messed up. But I'm like, it all depends on who the parents are. It doesn't matter which parent is black, as long as they raise you right. And
yeah, it's just the fact of, were we born out of love or out of hate, you know? and that's where I'm at or whatever. I don't think my dad was necessarily accepting of himself. That's why he felt like maybe he had to maybe pair with a non-black woman, you know, and because there's three of us, you know, so I don't think and they didn't stay together, so I'm just yeah, I just had to grow up from that, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, definitely. I've heard
Same
that
here,
too.
man.
Yeah, either self-hate or fetishes or a combination of both. But not really genuine, love and admiration and building.
Yeah, that's why I like this space or whatever, because I mean, growing up, my dad would make comments about my hair texture, and I don't know if he thought that I would come out, resembling him more or whatever, but he had to know that that wasn't going to be the case. I don't know, just looking back on certain things growing up, I didn't really know what he expected, you know? So, I mean, yeah, and I guess he expected my sisters to resemble my mom, and then me resemble him. But it happened the complete opposite. You know, and so just the little comments and everything like that. I mean, this is supposed to be my father, somebody I look up to, who's supposed to teach and guide me. You know what I mean? Despite whatever I look like, just as long as my paternity wasn't in question, you know, I'm a part of you or whatever. But I just I think his expectations was different, and it was ridiculous if you ask me. Because yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, but yeah, but forgive me, y'all. Like I said, this is my first live stream, so yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's all
no,
yeah,
it's all good, man.
yeah, it's all
And
good, man.
though, and one of the, and also I also wanted to also shine a comment that Duke said, especially in the chat, that if you do listen to certain people, being it, yeah, this space in general, it's easy to get turned off. Especially, it all depends on who you listen to as well. And
Yeah.
I've also heard, again, some MLS men, say that as well. I mean, especially when it comes to their parents, where they just have a different expectation towards whether it be from from their sons or even from their daughters. But I think when you're an MLS man, I think you tend to get it tends to be steered more towards the sons in a way.
Yeah, yeah, because
And
I mean, they say that we at the bottom of the totem pole. I guess, as far as the black community is concerned, or whatever, it's like it's MLS women, at the top or whatever, and then MLS men is at the bottom, along with dark skinned black women. Which I've seen. I've witnessed that firsthand. I mean, that's actually pushing the truth, if you ask me. And it's just sickness or whatever, because if somebody treat me with respect, you know what I mean, any race or whatever, then I would gravitate towards them, and we can establish a friendship, or some kind of camaraderie, or some kind of common ground, no matter who they are or whatever. But it's a certain sickness with us, you know and I guess when I mean us, I mean just where I come from, and you know what I mean, and black communities. I'm from Detroit, so I mean, you got, I guess, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, anywhere where it's a large amount of black people, a large black population.
Yeah.
yeah,
Where this exists. So
Yeah, and honestly and frankly, It's funny you say that. I'm from Houston. And it's definitely the same way down here, but it doesn't really exist like this in large parts of the rest of the country. And I guess for you, man, I guess one good thing you should do is just kind of look into the aspect is this is not normal anywhere else in the country, and you gotta, man, I don't know, how your situation is as far as still being around the black community quite a bit, but you can always kind of like taper off from it and see what any other communities or environments has to offer, to yourself, and then see what the difference
I
is.
did. I did. It's in Southwest Detroit. It's a large Latino population. I've
Okay,
even picked up. Yeah, I've even picked up a second language,
there
and
you go.
their whole outlook on life is different, and
Yeah.
they go by a whole different set of norms. You know, and I'm currently dating a Latina chick. So
Okay.
and I mean, and the family dynamics is way different. I mean, they very welcoming. And they really ride for their people.
Mhm.
So I have noticed that. You know, and so I mean I appreciate that. I was at what is it, multiracial movement. I was at her channel, and they live stream was they were trying to include Latino people into, I guess, the MLS golden sphere, or whatever you want to call it, and a lot of people wasn't agreeing with that.
Mhm.
That should be separate, and I do think that it is a difference or whatever, but I guess the just the strength of being mixed, I guess, because they are, you know, I think that we have a lot in common.
Mhm.
Uh, but a lot of people feel like, I mean, since maybe they are Latino and they speak Spanish, that
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like saying they already have, for lack of better words, a established culture. Whereas they have an established culture that's definite, and they get that's pretty prominent everywhere in the country. So you look at that, you like say, yeah, the commonalities are there, but most people tend to be around people more like them. So would you be an outsider in that culture to a certain degree over a period of time? You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a cyclic thing. It's a cycle thing. Like you may be good for a minute, but and you learn the language and the culture, that's fine. But are you really truly a part of that culture over time? You more or
yeah,
less
they
have
know.
you more or less have to blend into their culture over time. You see, so that's the
Yeah,
only, I guess that would be the one thing that people who are saying, well, should we be more accepting of Latinos and the Golden Sphere culture? I'm like, yeah, for like you said, the point you said about the common things, the understanding. But what about when those groups kind of like show their solidarity and you kind of on the outside, for lack of better words, based on your background or based on the differences?
yeah, they do. But they do they do respect the fact that you attempt to immerse yourself in their culture, and
Mhm,
you want to learn about their culture, and
mhm.
about what they're about. But at the same time, they still know that you're different.
Yes.
No matter how much time you put into it, like you said, over time. But it's still like, but you're not, Latino. You know, you don't have ancestry in Spain, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Even though you picked up a second or third language, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's still that there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess it would be the lesser of two evils. I guess. Do you want to, be a part of that situation environment
I'm back, guys.
with the black community? What do you have there? It's kind of like a back and forth type of deal. You think about
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I think I think it's more camaraderie and more support as far as they're concerned. Just I guess as a whole, you know, to where we haven't built that yet. I guess as mixed or biracial or MLS people in America, you know, that haven't really been established. Like the groundwork haven't really been laid like it has been for them with us. You know, you know what I mean? Because I'm American. You know.
Yeah, it's been tried. It's been tried, especially with the Creoles, Louisiana Creoles, and generations before quickly got broken down and infiltrated. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been tried. You know, I don't a reboot. Yeah, try maybe a reboot in the modern era, but yeah, they've definitely tried before in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think more people like us should be should be aware of these channels. I mean, I don't know what an initiative needs to be taken in order to make that happen, you know, but um definitely, you know, even if they reject it, they should at least know that this is something that's trying to be done. You know.
Exactly. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, it always starts good. Then my laptop go dead, and then all of a sudden everything just start crashing all at once, like clockwork every time.
Damn, man, shoot. Hey, even my laptop is almost down on its last legs. So I need to save. Yeah, I definitely need to save up more and probably, you know, invest in another laptop myself.
Yeah, I
So
kind of.
Yeah, Mar.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get your MacBook, man.
Yeah.
Gotta step it up, man.
Yeah. Hey, come on now. Look, we did already talked about this before. We made fun of my technical difficulties. All right.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you right about that, man. Yeah, you sure right.
And I tell you, these laptops, man, it's like we start off, everything's working good, and all of a sudden I just see the time freeze. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Right.
I'm like, what? Well, that means hurry up and switch
But
on to this phone.
if the MacBook is the MacBook is good, then hey, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, man. It's the way to go. All
You
your
ain't got to
video
worry about the
editing,
viruses.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like the
then
crazy
again, though,
thing.
and that's the thing too. Like, you know, since going back to sort of like, you know, getting around the topic at hand a little bit, because you know, see, and here's the thing. Like, even when I first started, like, really in this space, like, even I never would have thought or even imagined that it would be you know, this sort of competition thing of who's more MLS than the next person over here, or this and that, or who's different because of not only your parents. I mean, hell, then you're not here with Chris Brown told Drake light skinned niggas need to stick together, bro. What Drake wasn't necessarily all, oh well, I ain't light skinned. I'm like none of that. He was like, I got you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was on the you got it girl video, right?
Yeah, the no guidance video. He was like, I got you,
No
man.
got it.
Yeah.
I remember that. I saw that.
Yeah, and what I said, y'all was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Shit, shit, I love to hear shit like that. Yeah, but you know, yeah, but
Hey, Duke, I see.
you come across these parts, you know, again, especially people being on the internet, you know, and they all, again, they hold mentality and warp their senses. Oh.
I think they're trying to take something good and warp it into something else when it's really not even about that, because they don't have the. Oh, what were you about to say?
Oh no, go ahead, man. My bad.
Yeah, I was about to say they're trying to take a space and trying to just sort all types of negativity to it to stop it from growing to a point where it really can take off.
Yep, yep. I mean, and these is big artists in the music industry. I mean, Drake is to me is like a musical genius. You know what I mean? And top selling. You know what I mean? Hit after hit. But at the same time, I guess I guess his fan base kind of like goes across all types of borders in a sense, not just in the black community, you know what I mean, which I come from, but you got other people, I guess, in other countries listening to his music. That's you know, that's contributing to his streams and his success, you know, because I guess if it relied on us, I guess he wouldn't have got that far.
Yeah, again, without a doubt, man. And like I was saying earlier, again,
Yeah,
like,
and
because they hate the
like
fact
there's
that
even
he's the
people from
face of ML, because he's the face of hip hop, and he's MLS or biracial, and they hate it. So how far do you have to go in order to make somebody, undesirable or undervalued?
Yeah.
Do it really take a whole lot of effort to do so? Even if they were, because somebody also told me that he's also been the joke of the memes of jokes since 2011.
him and Chris Brown. That's the crazy thing. Both of them
Right,
are.
right. And I'm
And
like,
it's
and the thing is, I'm like, what's tripping? What's funny about that? They still gon' they still gonna be dancing to Chris Brown anyway. They hear a Chris
Yeah.
Brown song, ain't gonna be like, oh fuck this. Like, don't like quit lying. Quit
Yeah.
y'all lying. Y'all gonna be just like how people was tripping because it's like, oh, I can't believe he charging this much for a meet and greet. Well, that didn't stop the people from paying, let alone the women.
It didn't stop the meet or the greet.
Right. Didn't stop the meet or the greet. Hell, them women was paying. Hell, even some dudes was paying.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, and speaking of which, now I was gonna say now at the end, okay, he was supposed to do a Michael Jackson special tribute, but the AMAs canceled that, which really it wasn't really the MAAs. That was really Disney that canceled it due to what happened in the past with Rihanna, and Kelly Rowland accept the award on his behalf of winning the best of R&B, and people started booing. So
What
if
do
I
what do
again,
what do yeah, what do Disney got to do with the AMAs? I mean,
I think it's because of what channel does
Disney owns ABC.
yeah, because of ABC, yeah, because it's ABC, and I think yeah,
I
Disney and
think
ABC have like,
they got like some kind of like partnership or something.
They own them.
yeah, they do.
So
oh,
yeah,
okay. So basically, it's like an umbrella. Basically, it's like this network is connected to three other networks. That's
correct.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's only like as far as the mass media, it's only like 6 people or companies that run like the majority of the news channels and TV stations in at least North America and probably the world. So that's facts. So yeah, they know how to censor and filter down stuff if they want to and act like it doesn't exist, you know,
yeah.
if they want to.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. But that was so long ago. You know,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how relevant it is it is today. You know what I mean? Far as I mean, he accomplished so much more after that or whatever. I mean, brilliant dancer. Just brilliant. Musician. Like I don't. Yeah, like you know, when I heard that was one of the causes, you know, it was ridiculous to me, you know. But even Rihanna's huge, I guess more huge than Chris Brown, I would say, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they gave him the Ike Turner treatment, you know, for life.
yeah.
I'm like, hey,
It
but
was for
here's the
life.
thing though. Is she? But guess what? But hey, but is she dead now? Is she dead right now? No. And I'm not making fun of people who are deceased or nothing, but again, it's funny how, you know, when you have those little, you know, again, moments where, you know, again, where your mindset was and how old you were.
Yeah, he was a kid, like
Yeah,
19.
it's right. Yeah, very much so. Like he was very young, you know,
Mm.
especially at 19. And even he talked about this in the documentary that he did, where people just don't realize how much power you literally have because you think that you can just pretty much do anything when in reality that's not the way that it works.
You know what? Looking at this, Duke mate brought up a good point. He says every MLS male entertainer has always been dogged by black men. Bell Fontes, Smokey Robinson, and DeBarge and Albies. Now, I kind of got to ask y'all this question because this was before my time, but in the 1980s, would you really say that it was really to the point where MLS men were the pretty much heartthrobs to the point where some of these people say it was?
Man, I was born in the 80s, so I was a kid. But I
I
do
believe
feel,
other people got their shine too,
yeah.
to a certain extent. You know, the focus might have been more so there, but I don't think that, you know, other people didn't have a chance to slip through the cracks some kind of way. You know,
Yeah, because like even then, it's like even you had good times and you had shows like the Cosby Show. So I don't think it's like one sided the way people try to say it was.
Yeah, I don't think it ever was either. And whoever did get that shine, they am I echoing? Damn.
A little bit.
No. But I said whoever did get that shine, they weren't MLS people weren't responsible for putting them in those positions. And when it did happen, it didn't happen too long because I remember the late 80s and the early 90s, and boy, that was a shift, big time shift in media representation of males and females. And it wasn't mixed. Well, maybe for the women it was still mixed, but for the men it definitely wasn't. Definitely a crossover. So if it was, it didn't last too long. For real, it really didn't last too long. But,
yeah.
yeah. I don't remember it. Not like that.
And for me, because like, you know, when I was listening to like music and watching music videos, like during the period where I was born, I saw again the representation, you know, again, especially for MLS before transitioning over into the 90s was especially when it went over to the 90s, yo. It's like any MLS person that you saw either got the Nino Brown, G Money, you know, G Money treatment, or the Christopher Williams treatment. Though I never liked you anyway, pretty motherfucker thing. But then again, but going back into the 80s, you know, when you had Kid and Play, where you had Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff or Salt and Pepper, and Prince, you know, you name El DeBarge, Phil Ingram. Am I saying it right? What's the Ingram dude? James Ingram.
You know, it's funny when I talk to a lot of older dark skinned men, it's like every time they bring up that they seem to bring it up in like out of spite and like almost jealousy in a way, bro. Because it's like they
About to ask
like the bars and all them, like they didn't. I could tell just by the way they talk about them that they didn't like them for that very reason. And
Yeah.
if you look anything like them, your life was probably a living hell.
But you know what's so crazy, Johnny Break? A lot of that stuff, man, didn't even really play into they real lives, man. It was just for the entertainment aspect. And they realized a lot of them cats was winning in their communities with women and stuff, or other races of women. Let's be real. So a lot of propaganda, and to feed into that, they must have wasn't winning back in the day, or just self-hate or whatever. But I didn't see that. I grew up seeing a lot of non-MLS men winning with women and whatever endeavors they wanted to do, because they were well supported. They were way more supported. So so
I was just about to ask y'all what's y'all experience being MLS in the workplace, because when somebody said something that kind of struck me, that pretty motherfucker, that look it. See, I had an issue with my last job, and I'm glad that I got a decent job now. But before, my boss was older. I would say he's about maybe almost in his 50s. He would always make these comments, pretty motherfucker, light skin and light skin this and light skin that. And then he started cutting my hours.
Wow.
He started cutting my hours. And then next thing you know, I was a part-time employee, y'all. Like,
wow.
all off of colorism, and all off of crazy assumptions.
Man, damn! I hate to hear that, brother. That I've never heard nobody, have negative effect, feel like that, especially in a professional.
I haven't had.
No, go ahead, bro.
I've never had like any negative experiences, but I have heard like a lot of people talking about MLS men in kind of a negative light on my job, with me kind of right there, just sitting right there. But a lot of something with the dudes, it was pretty much just all jokes and stuff, just pretty much lighthearted jokes, nothing that deep. But a lot of times with the women, it was more so like, oh, I can't date somebody who's gonna be in the mirror more than me. Oh, I don't do light skins. It's like, oh, okay. Right? I mean, you didn't have to say it out loud like that.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
and for me, because I'm not the biggest I'm not necessarily the biggest dude in the world myself. But because of the people that I attract, you tend to be, sort of like in that predator versus prey type of atmosphere, and not only just in the job place, but also even outside of the job. Like, you could be going to hangout spots, you can be going to the bar, just drinking and having a good time, and you can still like find yourself like in a position where you don't know if people got this concept, either if they want to fight you or they want to do something to to advance their sexual prowess onto you. And I'm like, get the fuck away from me. like for real, be like, I am a boy, Damon.
Hey, Mark, that happened to you recently, or you talking about when you were young?
I'll say that again.
I said that happened to you in recent years, or when you were younger?
A mix of both.
You said what now?
I said it was a mix of both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm over 40 now, so those type of things genuinely don't happen in most environments. But yeah, when you're young, it definitely plays into stuff. But yeah.
High school, I realized that a lot of women was feeling me. you know, but it was just kind of like a young, kind of like puppy love kind of thing. But it seemed like those same chicks that felt me in high school, they attraction shifted. You know what I mean? To once we got grown, and so that's when I realized the difference. You know, so I think that's the thing.
I think the problem is people get all their cues from like social media and the media, and I've talked about this numerous times where it younger is pretty much, oh, they like this type of look, and then when it's older, because of what they see on the media, because let's keep it a buck, a lot of MLS males as of now are just not even in the American media or are portrayed as the masculine, like patriarchy, like heartthrobs, like the think of the like Black Gloves movies where the dude is just dude in a suit, like masculine and all that. Like you don't see that anymore. And that kind of plays a lot into a lot of people's dating preferences because they get their cues. And as of right now, what the media portrays as the dominant alpha male is the dark-skinned male. And the media has forced us out to the point where people aren't, because let's be honest, where are they going to find them? There's MLS male actors that could easily play that role, but due to the way the media is, they don't get the shine that they deserve. And it's sad.
The media must be a powerful thing because look how people is easily swayed. I mean, I had women that say, okay, well, ooh, I would date you. You are attractive or whatever. But, so I guess that's where the media kick in at to actually be able to infiltrate somebody's mind and thinking system to actually make them like something just off of like off of what's trending. You know what I mean? You clearly see somebody who's attractive or who you may not think is attractive, but still that could change with what you see on TV and on apps like TikTok and Facebook. Like that's crazy. Like like you know what I mean? First I see the person first. Like I don't go off of trends or what's you know what I mean, or I don't. It's just crazy how powerful of a tool that is. You know. So yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel you on that. And also, what I was going to say is that because when again, like what Brown and Beige was saying, like who about the masculine, again the promotion, happens to be dark skinned Black men, but even for the dark skinned Black women, it's like they don't realize how that's going to backfire. Because if your men are being because if your men are being seen that way or being promoted that way, then how you think you're going to be looked at?
Mm-hmm.
Woman king.
That's why you have a lot of your unambiguous Black men that's feeling themselves a little bit too much, and they get the big hit.
Everyone is in this fake pro-Black right now. Exactly. And to me, that's just a slap in the face to MLS, man. And it just goes to show you what I be talking about. Like a lot of people be saying like, oh, we're all Black and all this. But the very fact that you got people that even think for a second that if you date someone that's darker, then that makes you more down, that right there should show you that there is lies laced in the game.
Yeah.
Well, one thing for sure, when those things are going on, you have to learn how to develop a mental separation, even from what you know and love to a certain degree for self protection and just to build yourself up. You have to develop a certain level of distance, healthy distance, as time goes on to just if you see stuff like that, don't even engage in it, or try your best not to engage in it. Because if you fall too deep in it, want to be too close to it, and you know what it's gonna do to you, then that's just a vicious cycle, you know. So you gotta like mentally try to break that vicious cycle, and it does cause you to, uh, be to yourself about it a lot. And but that's what we got these spaces for, so you won't have to be to yourself totally about it, and you have people to talk about it and build with and stuff like that, you know. But as far as being in the mix, dealing with it, man, you just got to
When I
shut.
hear that, when I hear that rhetoric, when I hear that rhetoric, I just run away, basically,
Yeah, exactly.
because it's not healthy for me or whatever, and it's degrading me or
Yeah,
whatever, and I won't stand for that. And I stand to be respected and treated
yeah,
fairly, no matter who I encounter.
yeah,
So
that's it.
yeah, yeah, but it's something that's deeply ingrained, though. I will say that much.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
hurt people really, and hurt people tend to hurt people. Like the misery really loves company.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
especially
absolutely.
especially in that aspect.
Yeah,
Because of because again, like as long as I've been alive, and even I mean, not just necessarily, again, like just regular MLS issues, but even just issues throughout life, there's gonna be people that's gonna try to, you know, run their little rough shine to feel like, they're somehow are better than you or superior than you just because they believe that they can. And then when they get like this huge reality, this huge slap in the face, you realize that, you know what, at the end of the day, the world is still going to continue moving forward with or hell, with or without me. Yeah, I can look in the mirror and be like, at least I don't have those kind of problems.
that separation is stunting the growth of Black people as a whole, anyway.
Oh,
Economically, socially, all of that. Like, you know what I mean? You, them being too focused on trying to stunt on you or trying to stunt on me or whatever is not really helping the whole. It's not really adding to the bigger picture of growth and opportunity and building. I mean, all of that stuff. It's like it's just crazy. Like that crab in a bucket mentality. You know, like
right, right. And and shout outs to, again, to Caesar Cannon, where and even in his videos, you tend to have a lot of these, merchants or these people who are these merchants who influences, you know, the small crowd who just tend to be sheep who have this sheep like mindset.
yep,
And so they con people, defraud people, mislead people, or miseducate.
And it's
yeah,
all just for the sake of doing it out of some sense of amusement that they get, or some type of self-fulfillment. If
Absolutely.
you if you talk to older mixed guys from this, they say it was much worse then. I can only imagine how, like, even looking at what people saying, I could only imagine like how bad it was back then, especially for the ones that were like racially ambiguous. The more you probably looked like what the media portrayed, like the elder barges, the worse it probably was.
And you know what's funny? Because I said that too to somebody about, the guys that are like the same age as, let's say, Smokey Robinson, your Claude Andersons, um, hell, well, hell, even Red Fox, God rest his soul. Now, for those men today, like I feel bad for them because it's like, yeah, they've done so much for the community, but then that same community turns around and throws them to the throws them off. And so now they get to come over here, which is cool. But I think for one, they may just have to, sort of like get kind of like, adjust some things mentally. And so you won't necessarily see those particular MLS people that want to be down. What was that scene?
But you know what? To piggyback off of that point, this is a very interesting comment. Slavery was actually worse for the light-skinned slaves. That was a well-kept secret. You know, the thing about that thing is, think of it as like a job nowadays, and you have a boss that you just can't stand. Are you gonna, what's better, working away from that boss at a spot where they're ordinarily not are, or working right under them where they can correct you in the most worstest and cruelest of ways if you do something wrong? What would you pick? That
That's
pretty
an
much
excellent point.
that's pretty much what summarizes slavery, even if the house slave, field slave thing. Like, house slaves work right under the slave master. So what do you think happened to those slaves if they did something they don't like? If they burnt the food, if it tasted bad, if they didn't do something right? I think that's where a lot of black people as a whole really, really struggle to understand that dynamic when it comes to slavery.
They think
And
it was
it's
all
kind of
peaches and cream,
frustrating.
but it really wasn't. We was getting abused on different kinds of levels. You know what I mean? From the wife, from the, I mean, I mean, yeah. I mean, I even heard about rape and just all kind of certain kind of torture, and like, yeah, it wasn't no acceptance. Like, really, like, I, yeah, they think that we had it made basically, and that's not the case. It's different forms of abuse than the ones that we know commonly. So
Right.
yeah, it couldn't have been. I mean, it could have been easy. So
Even if you look at like some of the slavery movies that like portrayed it in a little bit, you could see like the great lengths that some of those slave masters went through to not acknowledge like the mixed race history. Because really, that's what the one drop rule was created for, was to keep MLS people from gaining the wealth, power, and privileges back then of white society. And that's why they created it, to stop that. Oh, if you're one quarter black, that makes you black. It was all an effort to try to stop wealth from trickling down, because they feared those MLS people would bring the wealth down to the black community back then.
yep, yep, because it was very few that could pass as white, very few, and if they could, they sure as hell did. You know,
And unfortunately, again, like and unfortunately, again, like for our counterparts, who tends to make it harder on themselves more so than anybody. I don't think that that's what they I don't think they fully, comprehend that that's really what the intent is.
yeah, yeah. But
So,
I seen an article. I seen an article say that, and this is actually came from white men in the past. I guess what you would call, slave owners. They said that we were more suitable for non-physical labor. So it's kind of like black people are piggybacking off of that. You know, I've seen a video where a guy brought that point up that this is not coming from us about you light skinned men. This is coming from actual white men. You know, saying that that the physical physique wasn't there enough to handle the hard labor jobs and the jobs basically that was more physically demanding. You know, and I'm not saying that they didn't say that or whatever, but that just goes to show that people don't have a mind of their own, and they don't even if they using information that was I mean, they're not coming up with their own talking points. Basically, they're just piggybacking off of what somebody said in the past to just kind of fuel what they feel now. You know, like, oh, this is not us saying it. These is what slave owners said. You know, about mixed race men. You know, less physically capable. You know,
And
stuff like that.
all I have to do to say to that is these physically less capable men were the men that were going toe to toe with white supremacy and won from the very beginning, excelling in spaces that was pretty much rigged against them, and they still succeeded and still established wealth for both communities. So anytime somebody
went back and tried to help, everybody is turning back. People use that advantage they had to try to help black people, mixed race people. You know, they actually, it was you know what I mean? It was kind of like, they got ahead to go back and try to, give back or to try to, involve. You know what I mean? So that's never talked about though. You know,
because it's a way to manipulate and control.
hmm
So when you manipulate, so what you so it's like so when you have to like do everything in your might to control and manipulate a certain group of people regarding their background, class, economics, or what have you. Because I mean, hell, I mean, this is how again, like even when people that go to war with one another, they have what you call like study the enemy before your enemy can gain any type of knowledge that they have on you. They're going to study your beliefs. They're going to study your language,
true.
what towns to take over, which ones to burn. Also, if they could, discontinue that growth of people.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the issues come in, and because a lot of us we're so used to living life under other like identity and people's lenses that we have no knowledge of ourselves or of our culture or of our history. Like everything is just lumped together and just thrown in the same category.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see other MLS men making jokes about other MLS men, like especially with I'm hearing at work with the whole Drake and 21 Savage thing or whatever. It's like they're trying to the few that I've encountered, they're trying their best to like distinguish themselves from that, separate themselves from that. Oh no, well that's not me. You know what I mean? And just the over projection of, okay, well I don't fit these stereotypes. It's real and it's sad. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us is intelligent. You know what I mean? And and when they say, okay, well you different. Okay, well you on that light skin, or you on this, or you on that, or whatever. Like I embrace that. You know, you know what I mean? When I get in certain settings, I know how to speak, you know, to where I'm understood. It's certain aspects about me that people say is weak or say, oh, well, that's light skin, you know what I mean? that's actually not such a bad thing, you know. So, especially when I got out of the black community or whatever and started getting other responses.
Yeah,
So,
that right there, what you just said. And if people had that same type of mentality right there, which is sad but true, that's what they're gonna have to do is move, get out of that community, unfortunately. Especially if it's already on a dire situations themselves. Would you continue? It's like, again, when you know you have a bad crop, are you going to continue to build from that bad crop? Or if you know that the ship is sinking, so you're going to try to do everything that you can to save your own life, right? Even if there's another ship across from it.
yeah, yeah. I
It's like,
mentioned this community to these few men, to these few men that I work with or whatever, and they just completely dismissed it. That's why I hope that this grow and that I hope that this can be, brought to people's attention a little bit more or whatever, because they're not really receptive to it. I'm like, yeah, it's a golden sphere, it's the MLS community. It's actually, a place for us. It's small, but I mean, I'm sure it wants to grow leaps and bounds. You know what I'm saying? And they like, oh, nah, nah, you know what I mean? And I guess these are more, I guess, MLS types who are more tailored to the black community or more used or accustomed to the black community, to where, like I just said earlier, like they're fighting it, and don't and just can't really see it. You know what I mean? I mentioned that on that multiracial movement channel, that I'm glad y'all got these spaces, because in person is weird. When I try to walk up to an MLS man to try to bring up certain things, or to just bring these kind of channels in this community to their attention, they not really receptive to it. All because of maybe what they've been fed growing up, or just not open minded enough to actually see that this is actually a thing, you know? So yeah, that's
And you know what is the funny thing is a lot of people try to say with a lot of spaces like this is, well, people aren't going to talk about this stuff in real life. Well, you don't know what these people are going to talk about. Truth be told, there's probably a lot of people that really feel like this, but they're too afraid to come out and say it, because I don't know about you guys, but if I told people like some of the stuff that I say on this channel to them, they would probably look at me like I'm crazy. Because when you're in an echo
yeah,
chamber of people that all believe the same way and all pretty much have been fed the same batch of information, if there's somebody that thinks outside the box that tries to tell them, oh, well, it's not like that, then a lot of people will not accept it and don't want to go against the crop,
yeah,
because a lot of people are followers.
yeah,
and I'm
right,
and the last job that I had too, I was good. There was like these couple of girls that I was gonna share, pretty much pass down like this information, knowing about this space over to them. But then for some reason, something just told me that, you know what, I mean, you can, but would it really be a good idea? I'm like, well, I'm not saying that not saying that they probably wouldn't have, went with it, if I presented it to them. But the thing is that because I, again, because I work with them, they may have not have been on the same type of length away in comparison to what I'm on. It's like they're just sort of content, stuck in their, stuck in their own little way. I mean, hey, which is fine. Hey, do you? I'm not here to hold your hand, but the thing is, for me, I've always sort of been the type where I can only just show you better than what I can tell you. And if you like,
hey,
if you like it, you like it. If you don't, well then, hey, you don't have to. and that was, again, and during that, and that was like during that time where it was leaning more towards that positivity wheel. But then when it started going downhill and the negativity, is like, well, I kind of in a way did them a favor because I didn't want them to be caught up in the trap where it's like I present something and what they get is a whole bunch of negativity, and then all of a sudden I'm here feeling bad, feeling guilty, like, I apologize that, again, even though I presented this to you, if there was a way that I could, steered it in a way that where you just saw positivity, I would have done it that way. And even, I mean, and truth be told, there was another MLS dude that unfortunately he passed. He was like a coworker of mine, and I was gonna, also, because it's like when I saw him, he just looked like he was just really, really down and depressed. Even when I saw him, I didn't know if he was either unhappy in life.
That's because that's the sense of belonging and knowing where you fit in. It's belonging to something. When you, especially you mix race or whatever, so you don't fit in either box equally.
Right.
From which side, whatever side, and so that can be depressing or whatever. It's an identity crisis. It can be, Yeah, so I definitely I seen that too, or whatever, to where, you know what I mean, where they just trying so hard just to fit in into the black mode or the white mode, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean. That's why I'm really rooting for this thing right here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, George Orr? But yeah, but another thing is that because I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like, because there were times where I literally just wanted to just throw my hand, just really throw my hands up, like what, like, come on, man, like what the fuck? and, and I would be, and then I'll be like, yo, this is why I drink majority of the time. Because literally you try to still hold out hope. You still tend to be optimistic, but sometimes that optimism can get easily overwhelmed by the not so optimism of it, where you're just constantly being surrounded by what this person said or what this other group of people over here say and do, and then you just continue to try to move forward, try to live your best life, and realize that, hey, if you have a different, if you have something that you could fall back on, or have a recollection where every man or every woman need.
Yeah. What happened to our host, man?
I think Brown Beige dropped again. I think he must be having issues with the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to wrap it up right now. I don't know, because I mean it is going around 2 hours 45 minutes, damn near.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, because it's almost 9 o'clock where I am.
Oh yeah, it's almost midnight where I'm at. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
So.
I'm, because that's the thing too, again, like, because I didn't even know that he was going live up until I saw the last minute notification. I was like, oh shit, let me hop on.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I caught it right in the middle or whatever. And like I said, I never been on the live stream at all. I never, you know what I mean, tapped the StreamYard link or any of that, And this is my first time, and I know I'm probably talking all over the place at first, you know what I mean? But I got to get more comfortable with it, I'll be in the comment section, you know what I mean, making comments or whatever, but I never actually got on here like this. So
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress, man.
Yeah, true that. And the more you do it, the more proficient you'll get at it. I mean, hell, even
Yeah.
when I do hop on panels, or even when I do panels, I still have this moment where I just tend to just stumble over my words, and then because I
Yep.
suffer from because I suffer from some type of stage fright, which I have told people where I go
Uh-huh.
presentation has never really been my big thing, because it's like when you have to
Uh,
go up on stage and you're on in front of a microphone and in front of people, you just get
public speaking.
nervous.
Yep.
Yeah, public speaking.
Yep. Oh yeah. Like, oh,
Yeah,
am I saying the right things? Let me recollect. Let me get my words together. You know what
right.
I mean? I don't want to sound ignorant. Yeah. Yeah. I feel it, man. I feel it. Just need to be more awareness towards this. And then the host or whatever, he's still striving and he's still trying. And
Yeah.
that's what I respect. You know, like, yeah, I really appreciate that. You know.
Okay, I'm looking at a comment. It said something about, "Damn, y'all giving up already." I'm like, who said we're giving up? Like, giving up when?
Is that Duke?
Nah, this is another comment. Nah, it's not Duke saying it. It's somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you know what? This is a troll. He pretty much comes in and says the exact same thing over and over. When MLS men tend to have panels like this, he'll come on
Yeah.
and troll
Do you
us
think
for
he?
his amusement.
Do you think he MLS himself, or I figure a troll wouldn't be? I don't know,
No,
but then could
I'm
be.
looking at I'm looking at an avatar and I don't see MLS. And so let me get this straight. So we're whining because we're expressing our differences in background throughout life, and somehow it's seen as either complaining, or we're whining, we're pouty.
I just feel like we just having much needed discussion. I don't feel like it's whining at all or whatever. We got things in common. You know what I mean? And that we sharing. I mean, I don't look at it as that at all or whatever. And and it's healthy to let these things out or whatever instead of keeping it bottled in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because the more you keep stuff bottled in, the more it's hurting, the more it's gonna hurt you.
yeah, exactly. So this is much needed for me. You know what I mean? So you back, bro?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm gonna have to call this. My phone just died practically right in the middle of the right when we
Yeah.
was talking.
Oh,
So
it's
since you're
all
gonna
good.
wrap it up, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, I miss doing this stuff. I definitely kind of apologize to everybody for my kind of inactivity, but I'm gonna try to go all out with this time. And I'm probably gonna be talking behind the scenes of probably some of the like core members of what was the Golden Spirit. And we're gonna try to talk and see if we can revamp this space, rename it, and just find out what the name is, and just start anew. Just drop all this negativity, like negative associations that never describe the space is created just for what we did today. But anything you gotta say, Emma?
Hey, yo, real talk. Hey, I'm just happy that get at least I get to get to see my boy, get back in action again, and Again, sorry that again you kept getting cut off, especially by again, especially by technical difficulties. I know how that feels. And I see I see a familiar face. Hey, what's up, Black Mind?
What's going on, Black Mind?
And
But
and that's one of the things too. I mean, again, again, I'm just trying to feel better myself. Dealing with this, COVID is Hey, but you still on Discord, right?
oh yeah, I'm on there.
Oh, okay.
I'll shoot you an invite.
Oh yeah, because I may want to, holler at you about something.
Yeah, I'll have my Discord link in the description. But anyways, nice talking to y'all. And don't worry, I won't disappear for the 6 months.
I was gonna be like, yo, don't be leaving us hanging like that no more.
No, I ain't gonna do y'all like that.
Yeah, it's all good though.
But good talking to y'all. Y'all have a good night today.
Same here.